How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, people? And we got the bright lights on tonight. We got the full house decor lights on, so you guys get to see my balding, my beautiful hair, everything all. Maybe we turn off the light, huh? Maybe we turn the lights off so you guys don't get to see all the balding, the white spots, and the Einstein hair, as some of my friends call it. Let me look at the camera here. I'm looking at myself, but no, let's look at the camera. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful... What is that light? Yeah, I know, it's bright. This is why I don't have these lights on ever. Now it makes sense, right? That's why I'm sitting in the dark. The lights are never on. If the lights are on, we got the nice colored lights going on in the back. Looks like the bar is closing. All right, you know what? Let's turn on the bar. Lights go off. Alexa, lights on. And we turn down the lights and the bar is on. This feels more like we're at home at the moment. Now it feels like, okay, you know what? We're in the dungeon. We're in the spaceship and we're ready to take off and talk about the market. Let's talk about the said market. I mean, today was a little choppy. You gotta move up, then a move down, and then a move back up. SPY kind of basically flat on the day. Most of the problems, I guess, started with Trump talking about more cozy. That's right, more cozy indeed. Shout out to Dieter. How you doing, Dieter? Welcome back from Egypt. I think this is like, what, your day 5, day 6 now, but still, welcome. TH is in the house too. What's up, TH? Old man TH, the hater number 1. And I'm joking, he's not a hater, but TH is in the house too, and as more people trickle in, we'll wish them hello as well. Market, as I was saying, you know, a little bit of a nothing burger day, I guess, on the stonks markets today. S&P 500, what did we close at? SPY up 2.4%, QQQ up 0.5%, IWM down 0.5%, and Dow basically flat on the day at 0.08. So a nothing burger day back and forth. And as I was saying earlier, the Trump tariff conversation, but this time in regards to Venezuela. If you buy oil from Venezuela, you're gonna get taxed also, you're gonna get tariffs also. So you know, just kind of causing more turmoil in the market, more uncertainty, and still question marks being thrown up. So that's why I think you saw a little bit of a halt on the market. But so far, people are still, I'm thinking, looking to position themselves for the bullish side, for the long direction, and actually look to buy these juicy dips on the market. Tesla today going into the close had an insane rally. Let me actually quickly scroll down to the large cap here. Apple up 1%, Amazon up 1%. Since we're already talking about the full screen stuff, why don't we quickly change screens over here. Hope your week is off to a good start. Prad, it is, my friend. Always good, always good. Even when red, we're still good because I can feel my bobblehead moving up, and that is more important. P&L will solve itself in the long run when I'm actually sizing up and putting real size on the markets. Right now, putting baby size, it doesn't matter. Amazon. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla all green, and the only one red on the day today, Nvidia. Out of the fan favorite, I'll say Nvidia and Tesla are kind of the fan favorite. One of them up 3%, the other one down 0.5% today. But overall, nothing burger day. QQQ, S&P 500, IWM, DIA. For myself, I was pretty patient. I was able to get some good trades on the board today, so I had a good little green day, small green day. You know, I had to break the red streak. I had to break the losing streak that I was on. A little bit of a stressful streak over there. So I was really patient. Only took setups that kind of screamed at me. So starting off with not the new setup over here, but where is PDD? So starting off with PDD, was watching this name today. No real reason to be honest. No volume, no relative volume, but it was just on my screen from previous days, I guess, and I was watching how it was trading around here at VWAP. Technically, you could say it was 9 EMA crossing VWAP short. But I wasn't really focusing on that. More so what I saw was the stock dropped into VWAP, traded sideways, had a little bit of a double bottom, made a higher high, but then pushed right back into this low. So in that case, if we do break this low, anyone who went long in this area, in this area, in this area, especially taking that breakout of this little pop and adding over here, they're all most likely going to have their stops over here, and I get to take advantage of a quick little scalp to the downside, and that's exactly how it's set up. Beautiful move to the downside, quick little scalp without having to risk too much. But if I had more size, I think I would have been able to capture the actual move. Also, one thing you know, I just mentioned earlier, which was the 9 EMA crossing VWAP setup, did play out. Oh, my webcam's off. Let me turn that back on. The 9 EMA VWAP cross setup did play out over here, but I didn't really see or focus on that playing out. So you ended up getting that actual setup target at the end of the day too. In my group Discord, I was talking about how I would love a move into yesterday's low, which was right here at 125.50s or so, right into where the stock basically made a bouncy ball or so. And then I was like, okay, I would also love a move into this area or into low a day where I will look for a cover. Sadly, the 2-minute pop or 2-minute candle high kicked me out of the trade over here. I had chances to get back in if I really wanted to. You could call this a second chance scalp over here, as it does pop into that breakdown area and then gets rejected right back, showing you that sellers are still in control and buyers at the moment are on exit stage left mode. So good opportunity. I think I capitalized it the best I can with the baby size that I was putting on the market today. Later on, someone in my floor, my buddy called out UPS. He said, wow, look at UPS today. It's just on a straight down move. I was like, okay, let me pull up this stock. Holy move, what is that move? That is crazy. Not a single green candle on the 5-minute. I guess that was a green candle there, but not a single green candle on a 5-minute, all the way to the downside, making a multiple ATR move. One ATR for the stock is $2.50. The stock makes a $6 move from top to bottom today. What's going on? I look for news, no news. So what is actually the stock doing today? No clue. Why is it dropping all the way into? If you pull up the daily chart, you'll see on the daily it's dropping into 52-week lows, right into 107, 109, 40 area. So it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Maybe there's a good trade opportunity here if it does capitulate. Look at the volume getting higher and higher as we're getting lower and lower. Oh, okay, interesting. Then I zoom out and I notice that volume candle is by far the highest volume candle we've had in the last few days. You can say, yeah, it had a pretty big volume candle here on the close, but that I just ignore because sometimes the closing imbalances, that could also have been the S&P 500 imbalance. That's exactly what that was last Friday. Triple witching, SPY imbalance. So that could have very easily just been a normal candle like that one or that one. So based off, if you ignore that volume candle, this is by far the biggest volume candle the stock has had in quite some time, right? You can zoom out and you'll see how the stock hasn't traded volume like that in a long period. So that is, you know, I'd say textbook capitulation. So giving you a beautiful capitulation, giving you a turn, taking long on the high of the 5-minute candle break, and then using the 5-minute candle low as your stop, getting you a pretty quick move back into the 9 EMA. But then sadly, how most capitulation stocks behave, this one did not behave that way at all. You at least get a move into VWAP or a full reversal move back to the north side. So maybe based on how the stock reacted later on, it's not true capitulation, but overall capitalize on the trade, capitalize on the move. For how much I was risking, I think I got a 1:1 trade out of it. How much was I risking on this? So I was risking about 35 cents and I got about 30-40 cents because the low of that 5-minute candle breaks, and that's about 1:1 risk to reward. Usually capitulation trades end up giving you, you know, more than 1:1. That ends up being one of the best trades. Even if you do it on the 2-minute candle break and over here, it still ends up being the same amount of risk for the same amount of reward. Maybe a little bit better reward if you do it on the 2-minute candle instead of the 5-minute candle. But at the end of the day, not something to write home about, but pretty good trade in my book. You know, I'm gonna say I did well on this. This had a lot of potential to really reverse back up into 112, maybe even higher than 112. At which point, for me risking 50 cents, I'm getting multiple dollars per share, and that would have been a great trade to have as my second trade on the day. Later on, I find SES through, I guess it was actually TSLL. I'm looking for Tesla long for the break of this high a day range. Originally was looking to get short on the break of this low, which my pod member actually did and was able to get a quick little scalp on that breakdown. My throat is getting itchy. All right, need some agua. So was looking to get short on the break of this low, but I wasn't aggressive on that order. Once it did break down, I was offering and my offers never filled, so I just let that stock go. You can see how it was basically a scalp at the end of the day. This is Tesla for those of you wondering, but this is the 3 times leverage or 2 times leverage Tesla. So I had to let that one go. Later on, I saw it come back above VWAP and hold above VWAP. So I was looking for this long back through to the north side. It does set up for that long later on. So a little early to the party. So tried a little long, gave up on it. When it actually mattered, I was too busy talking about some other stocks or something else in the market and missed out on that trade. I was watching it. I just decided to let go. I'll be honest, SPY being below VWAP was also sorry, SPY being below VWAP was also not attractive for that Tesla breakout. But you know, you could have given it a C level risk and still had a pretty good trade over there if you were looking for it. SES, news name, pops up with news, consolidates perfectly well above the day's high, and once it takes out that little range pop right there, I get long, and you know, I should really be aggressive on trades like this, because what am I really risking? Like goddamn 1 cent. Like I'm risking 1 cent and the stock gives me 12 cents, 13 cents per share. Like I should be really aggressive when I get long over here and slam trades like this. Granted, these are not trades I'm used to or familiar with. These are breaking news trades. So, you know, I'm just happy that I'm able to replicate it again. Yesterday was day 1. Today is day 2. I'm happy that I'm able to replicate this idea, get the reps in, and, you know, got long, not having to risk too much. Wanted to take this little breakout, but then I also let that order slip a little bit higher because I was like, I don't really know how to trade penny stocks. The orders are in 4-cent increments. I'm like struggling. My smooth brain couldn't process 4-cent increments quick enough. So I was like, cross 66 cents, cross 65 cents, give me the trade, I don't care. So I just kind of put 65, 66 as my order, and I got filled. You know, just being lazy mode over there. It worked out for me. I made money on it. I'm happy. Later on, I drew a trend line over here, took the break of that trend line to add some size back into the trade. That one immediately plummets against me, so I take loss on the shares from here, and I actually close the whole trade. So I make some money, I give some money back, overall profitable name, and I'm happy to get the reps in. There wasn't a lot of heat there to go in hard. Honestly, I think the way it got plummeted after the pop, you can see how right here, let's open the chart in a new window, or I can just go to what was the stock name again? SES. I can go to this chart. We'll go to the 2-minute window, and you can see how right here it started to pop, got rejected, but after that reject, it still held yesterday's high, still held today's opening range high after the initial pop move. And if you actually throw in the news VWAP from where the stock started to go higher, that's, you know, holding around the VWAP of the news also. So considering all those factors, I figured there wasn't much risk here. You're risking, you know, on the break of that candle, which is what, 61.85, and your stop is 0.5999. So you're basically risking 2 pennies, and you end up getting 10-13 pennies out of it. So that's like a multi risk to reward long right there. These are the type of trades that Lance actually smashes, if I'm not wrong, after he disseminates the news and he sees a pattern to kind of jump into the trade. And I'm happy that I was able to kind of get that rep in. Next time, take more size. Last but not least, trade of the day today. TradingView kind of fooled me. If you go to DM and look at what the stock's high was today, it says the stock's high was 4.54, but this original high was 4.51. So I took the breakout of 4.51 to get long. And sadly, that wasn't the breakout. Didn't really have any volume behind that breakout. My buddy said, Prad, the stock's actual high day is 4.54, not 4.51. So you might want to be careful. So I quickly start jumping out of this position. And I say, no, thank you. I'll just wait for the actual break of that level to come into play. And then I'll be interested. But until then, I'm not really too that one. And that is all she wrote for my trades today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those trades as much as I did. UPS, I wish this could have been a way bigger trade, but you get what you get from the market sometimes. Nice little bouncy ball effect on UPS here going into low a day. It'll be interesting to see where the stock ends up tomorrow. Let's quickly go take a look at some of the movers on the day today from our good friends over at Centerpoint. CRMD, what is that? That's not CrowdStrike. CRMD creamed down 31% after reporting Q4 results and providing business update. Let's actually go take a look at what that is. CRMD. What the heck is this company? It's like a small cap. $445 million market cap, 59 million shares float, shares outstanding 60 million, 13% short float, institutional ownership 37%, which is actually decently high for companies. I think people who I have talked to and have told me how to trade small caps, you ideally don't want to see more than 15 to 20% institutional ownership if you're looking to short small cap names. So the fact that this one is much higher might mean that this is a little bit more legitimate, or you know, one of the more smaller names that's struggling, but it is a real company, and bigger ventures, bigger hedge funds are actually looking to invest in them and own them. That's kind of what the idea is over there, which means they don't get sold off and manipulated and diluted so easily. So looking to just blindly short these stocks on pops might not be the best thing when they are that it's high institutionally owned. That was just something that people have told me. I have no clue when it comes to small. I'm very simple brain, because 80% of small caps automatically get sold when they pop by 50% or more. In that case, all you have to do is short around the open, and by 80% of the time you make money on those trades. It's just a default nature of small caps, right? There's more nuances to it and so on. Anyways, coming back to this trade, earnings name dropping 30%, did they say? Yeah, 30% on earnings and pushing below the 200-day moving average. So potentially putting this one on our watch list. Let's bring in the watch list. Oh, it's already here. Let's bring in the watch list and put that one up there. Or down there, I guess. CRMD, MLGO down 14% of the stock consolidated. I mean, this stock has been going crazy. I'm not really sure if it belongs on my watch list, because I really don't want to get trapped in this game. Right now, there was a good long today, and then there was also a very good short today. But this action is just screaming short trap. So I don't really want to get stuck into you know, a short squeeze that the stock is clearly trying to manufacture, but clearly worth of being on watch lists. So let's quickly put that one up in here. JYD up 10% on no specific news. However, several foreign stocks with high insider ownership have been experiencing extreme volatility and subsequent liquidations recently. So that's basically talking about MLGO over there. Let's go take a look at JYD. No volume at all. Is this even the right name? NASDAQ, yes. Up 10% today. With what volume? With the 165,000 shares traded only. I mean, do we really care about this? That daily chart honestly doesn't look too bad. Is it a high short flow? It might be worth keeping an eye on it, honestly. Not a high short flow at all. No institutional ownership at all. Insider ownership is 73%. 25 million shares float. 96 million shares outstanding. 521 million market cap. I mean, this is pretty interesting. If there is volume, I mean, this could get fun. This could get fun for the upside and for the downside too, but it needs volume for me. If it doesn't have volume, then I'm not really going to be trading it tomorrow at all. Let's continue reading that. A second. All right. Got a call quick. Had to answer that phone call. Where are we? So taking a look at JYD, need volume. I think we got some messages here from Victor. What's up, Victor? I can't bring up Twitter chat. So no way to pull that up for me. Hi, Prad. You're going to be in the next second driver for the Red Bull F1 team. No, that's not going to happen at all because I hate Red Bull. But Formula One, McLaren, or I guess Mercedes is not bad right now too. So if Mercedes or McLaren need a backup driver, they always got my back. I actually have a Lego McLaren back here. If you've seen it before, I'm not sure if you have or not. But yeah. You, being a Red Bull fan right now, clearly are not happy. Also, you mentioned the stock DSP. Started buying DSP today for the long-term account. Not sure what they do at all, so I can't really comment on that. But I guess the chart does look good. It's, forming a nice base below the 200-day moving average. Looking like it's breaking back up to the north side. And if it actually starts getting above the 200 and hold above the 200, potentially more upside. Recently reported earnings and potentially dropped because of that earnings report. Also with a mix of market action, so possibly doing that. Obviously you are trading off of or not trading, you are investing using fundamentals and looking at possible book value based on actual numbers. If you guys are interested how Victor is doing all that, make sure you go follow him on YouTube. I think his YouTube is Victor H Investing. All right, come back to taking a look at, where are we? Taking a look at the watch list over here. Tesla already up there. FCX up 3% as gold and copper prices have been rising related to economic conditions. UPS, we already have that. Trade Desk up 4%. Okay, looks like Trade Desk is bouncing, but do we really care about that is the question. Trade Desk, I was so interested on looking for that short down there, but I'm never gonna get that chance. Trade Desk is bouncing back into at least what seems to be the earnings anchored VWAP area, so potentially some opportunity there. Yeah, not gonna put it on the watch list. I'm just gonna let it move for now. ABBV up 3% as several pharmaceutical stocks experienced selling pressure on Tuesday. Really? So did Moderna go down? Not really. ABBV, how much did you drop? Ooh, drop over there. ABV dropping right back into earnings VWAP. Be worth keeping an eye on for a day 2 trade. Maybe a pop back into yesterday's low or today's high and showing you some sort of a rejection around that area. What is today's high? 209. Yesterday's low 207.50, so around 207.50 to 209. If you see some selling come back in on pops, potentially a reason to look for a day 2 trade over there. So I will go ahead and throw this one on the watch list too. Doing decent volume also. Like, that's a pretty decent volume candle. 16 million shares, doing 10 million shares tonight. That's not bad. That's not bad for a $200 name. So for sure, keeping an eye on this one tomorrow. Shout out to our good friends over at Center Point. MRK IP hosted Investor Day, up 6%. IP. Ooh, damn, that's not bad also. 13 million shares, $56 stock, choppy over here. If it does push back into these ranges, maybe there is something. You can see how this area has a little bit of a resistance around 57, and that was exactly today's high, or a little bit below that area. So potentially getting above 57 takes it into 59, 60, but I don't think it gets above 60. So if it does get into this area, I might be interested to look for a short tomorrow, but until then, I don't think I really want to trade this. I'll set an alert on my chart, and I'll kind of move on from it. If it gets there, then I'll take a look at it. Merck, another stock in the I guess ABBV and MRK. Is MRK in pharmaceuticals? Right, it is. Okay, thank God. I always get it confused with Merck and the company that does shipping containers. They have a similar name, Mercic or something. I don't know. I always get it confused between these two companies. Merck getting merked to the downside, getting pushed into the earnings VWAP, and possibly even lower now. Like I said, same idea as ABBV. If the catalyst is real, this could have a second leg, a third leg to the downside. Day 2, day 3 coming into play. So we'll throw these on the watch list too. And I think that's about it. Tomorrow earnings, Dollar Tree, really? Ooh, okay. Dollar Tree, Chewy reporting earnings tomorrow. Pre-market, how could I have missed those? So let's quickly go back in over here and throw those two also in my watch list. Dollar Tree. The other one was, what was it? Chewy. And then do I dare put DG in here? Where is DG now on the daily chart? Nah, we're gonna leave DG alone. Okay, so I have all the stocks that I want to take a look at. Let's start taking a look at the first one up there, and I know a lot of you are excited for this one. It's going to be GME. GME making a nice pop in the after hours after their earnings report, announcing that they are going to have a Bitcoin Treasury reserve, which basically means now any move in cryptocurrencies could also be related directly into GME moving around. If Bitcoin pops, GME pops. If Bitcoin drops, GME drops. Very close to Coinbase, which is crazy to think about. But obviously GME has like its own company, its own fundamentals on top of that, so kind of maybe in the realm of Reddit and Tesla when they actually had, or still do, I think, Bitcoin on their books. So GME over here, you'll see some apes coming back into the market, people liking the fact that GME is involved in Bitcoin now, and possibly, you know, trying to squeeze the shorts. So we'll see if that action and that Reddit chatter picks up again. For now, with their earnings report, let's take a quick read. 1.283 billion, what the hell? 1.283 billion versus 1.48 missing revenue. 30 cents per share versus 8 cents per share. So it's actually beating EPS quite decently. Total revenue was down 28% year over year. That's not good. Hardware and accessories revenue totaled to 725 million in the quarter. Software revenue came in at 286. Collectibles reached to 270 million in the quarter. 131.3 million net income, up from 68.1 million from same period. How? you're making less money. I guess, I don't know. The company ended the period with 4.7 billion in cash. That cash reserve just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? I'm pretty sure that was like 1 billion. Cash is now at almost $5 billion now. In a separate press release, announced board unanimously approved an update to investment policies to add Bitcoin as Treasury reserve asset. Crypto shares soared last month, or sorry, GameStop shares soared last month following the report. There were also some pictures with Michael Saylor and Ryan Cohen. So, you know, obviously people knew that this was going to happen. It was rumored, and now you're seeing a pop on that news delivery, I guess. But based on the earnings report itself, that's the main number that I look at, and that is not a good thing. So down 28% year over year on revenue, but still 5 billion in cash is not bad. What do they do with it, I guess, will be a big question, and I guess the answer is being given to us right here. Previously made a push into the NFT space. I'm pretty sure that shut down, didn't it? Company closed down to offering, what happened? Guess, yeah, that one shut down maybe. Reported third quarter. This one's also important over here. Do we have an outlook? Third quarter financial results in December. Company said it was freeing up CEO Ryan to bet on stocks in order to improve the company's financial standing. Wow, awesome. GameStop did not provide an update on this initiative in its fourth quarter release. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening over here in that case. This guy is just using GameStop's reserve money to increase the money by putting it into stock market and using his stock market skills. So they're basically saying they're gonna let him, you know, pump and dump some stocks. I love it. GME up 6% at the time of the report. That's insane. You gotta love the GME world. No word from Angry Kitty. Didn't he dump his position on GME? I'm pretty sure he was out of it. Anyways, no bias, no opinion. Right off the bat, I can see this previous earnings anchored VWAP is exactly where the stock is rejecting off of on the 5-minute, which is pretty cool. That's 27.50. This is also an inverse bouncy ball on the 2-minute. Sorry, this is also an inverse bouncy ball on the 2-minute going into the high day. Potentially a breakout of that tomorrow, going into $28-30, and then we get to trade around this area. So pre-market will be you know, very important for us. I think you could map out levels right now. Let me just go to the hourly chart, but by the time we get to tomorrow, it's not even going to be important. So you know, this little area is the $30 area. I'm pretty sure 29.30, and pushing into that tomorrow off of pre-market and having to trade around here will be important. If it trades strong above 29, above 30, no shorts, but it's weak on pops into 29, or on the opening drive it just gets plummeted below 28, below 29, and you know, sellers are just piling in on the way back down. Then on any pops, I want to see if sellers are still there and holding the stock below 29, 28, and so on. And in that case, I want to join them on the short side. So GME will be on watch tomorrow for earnings name play. So keep an eye out for the pre-market moves for sure. But sadly, that is all she wrote for stocks that we care about, or at least I care about, that report earnings pre-market, sorry, after hours. Tomorrow, a couple stocks that report earnings pre-market: Dollar Tree and Chewy. I like Dollar Tree because this level is fairly important to me. So if this stock reports earnings and gets below 60.50, that's going to be a no-brainer short at that point. But if it's, you know, pushing into 60.50 and holding it, then there could be a long off of there. But ideally, if it reports well, you don't want to see it get below or even to $60.50. If the earnings report's good, it technically should pop into the 200-day moving average, which is this range high, and maybe even getting above it. So you know, kind of a question mark if it does get down there as to why is the stock dropping on a good report. But if it's a bad report and it drops, it just makes my life so much easier to look for that short tomorrow. Chewy should be, it's a $30 stock now. Okay. I was gonna say like a low price stock, so possibly doesn't matter, but no, it's a $30 stock holding above the 200-day moving average. This for sure makes things a little exciting. Gonna quickly put in a marker at that previous earnings low. So to see if the stock gets below it or stays above it. That's basically like $30 at the moment. Let's see if the stock stays above it on the earnings report, or does it plummet below it, which also happens to be the 200-day moving average. Plummet below it, at which point you're basically shorting every pops on Chewy to ride the downside move. CRMD, this one comes from our friends over at Centerpoint. They reported earnings and they dropped to the downside. I guess this level here is going to be important. So that's what, $7.79, right around where today's VWAP earnings VWAP is kind of ending around too. So you're using this low all the way up to earnings VWAP, all the way up to today's VWAP to see how the stock reacts on a pop, which is around $8. So on every pop, if it's not able to find buying above 8, there's almost no. Is this yesterday? No, that's today. Okay, yeah. That's today. Had a pop in the middle of the day, and then that got stuffed right back to the downside. So there you have it. If it pops back into these areas and finds some selling, possibly some shorts over there for you to take advantage in. But the stock barely trades volume, and then randomly today 18 million shares. So maybe there is some downside. Maybe there is some downside. I'll watch it. I'll put it on my watch list for sure as a high priority, not the highest priority as GME and Dollar Tree might be, but decently high priority at orange level for me. MLGO also priority, but like I said, I don't want to be trapped trying to get caught shorting this name. This is possibly not done yet, right? We've seen the stock go crazy before. I can't remember if it was this one or its sister companies that went. I think HKD was the sister company that went to like $2,000 when the stock was popping around the same time. So these Chinese names, you want to be careful shorting it. But at the moment, if it does get below today's low, $9, or that could open up more downside on the stock. So keep an eye out for it. Small cap name. You know the games they play. You just want to be careful. JYD, the basic level is $5. If it gets above 5 and stays above 5 and has volume, I'm looking long. But if not, then if no volume, no trade. So pretty simple on that one. ABBV and MRK. I kind of mentioned this earlier. Fairly simple idea on these two. It's kind of like a earnings idea, meaning today's VWAP. If you kind of look at today's VWAP as an earnings VWAP, on any pop into today's VWAP, you want to see sellers coming back in. Any weakness on this name because of today's move should have weakness off of today's best price also. So ABBV, MRK, both of these stocks will be on watch. MRK actually a way lower price than ABBV, doing about the same amount of volume. So based on that, maybe MRK has better liquidity. So not sure which one has better liquidity and which one's cleaner, but I don't think it hurts keeping an eye on both of them, as the sector or whatever the news catalyst was is clearly not positive for these stocks to kind of break that uptrend they were in. So watching for a day 2 continuation on a pop. Day 2 short on pop. PDD. I don't think I'm going to be watching this for a trade tomorrow. BABA, not really. However, it is pulling back at the moment. FXI also is pulling back. So maybe, if there's volume on them, there could be a trade. But right now, I'm not really looking to force a trade on them, nor am I looking to prepare for them at the moment. Micron, I'm very shocked at the weakness in Micron after its earnings report, because I thought that report wasn't bad at all. So pretty shocked. I think if it does get below what, like $93, which was the earnings day low, there could be move back into 83, especially if the market's weak. So keep an eye out for that one. I am very confuzzled as to why Micron is not. That was actually, I guess, a failed break a low, but you see what I mean by getting below 93. If it actually manages to get below today's low, I think there is just no more longs in that case. But if it does manage to continue hold above 93, 93.50, then potentially this could be seen as a failed breakdown, and then we start pushing back into the higher end of these ranges, and I think market needs to be bullish for that too. So possibly keep an eye on Micron, but no concrete trade setup for me on that one at the moment. It's also daily charts kind of ugly. Nike burn Nike, TH's favorite word. So Nike is burning, kind of rejecting that $68-69 area and pushing back south, but volume dying down, so potentially not a name for me to really care about tomorrow. Same thing about FDX had an insane bounce back, and volume dying down, volatility dying down, so not gonna care about that. Palantir, $100 potentially coming into play if market has a good day, so you gotta keep an eye on Palantir without a doubt. Okta, lower volume, but a cleaner setup for potentially a swing or an investment maybe. So Okta, not really looking weak when the market's weak, and holding up fairly well. That means sellers are not looking to sell Okta at the moment. So keep an eye on this one if you're a swing trader or if you are an investor. I think you can say the same thing about DocuSign. This one's looking fairly well at the moment. I, however, have very mixed feelings about DocuSign. UNF had a pretty big drop today, 14% move down, but on very low volume. So I'm almost not interested on that stock unless it brings in volume tomorrow. Walmart, this one I kind of had to put this one on the watch list because of this range. So if Walmart starts to get below this range low, that's not really a good thing for the overall market. Consumer staples, retails are getting sold like this, which is actually surprising. So watching Walmart as kind of a barometer for the overall market at the same time. I mean, you can also just keep an eye on QQQ and the S&P 500. But yeah, Walmart getting sold off is surprising to me. So watching this one, you don't really want to be shorting into the 200-day moving average, so no breakdowns. But if Walmart gets below $83, $84, then on any pops, I basically want to be shorting those pops on Walmart. So, for sure on the watch list without a doubt. UPS, high priority this one. Big move today, so any pops, look for shorts. It could potentially just drop into this 52-week low tomorrow and set up for a trade over there in pre-market itself. So 108, 107, 86, going to keep an eye around this area. I don't want to see a boring range, but even if it does give you a boring range, that's about a $2 range for you to take advantage in. So just wait for the highs, wait for the lows, and trade the range at that point. But if you get a proper setup, then you might want to take advantage of that setup on a pop, on a drop, and a breakdown. So if things get spicy, you want to get ready to party. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's just get rid of all those lines and repaint these lines for myself real quick. I want it there, I want you here, and I will already have this line from my indicators already putting it that for me. Santiago, what's your thoughts on that's chat? I don't really have any opinions. I mean, small cap, bull crap, nonsense. Zach Morris pump and dump platform. I'm pretty sure that's what Zach Morris uses to pump stocks and dump stocks and so on when he's calling out names. It's just another garbage name that always has a pump and dump. Just make sure you know where in the cycle you are so you don't get caught offside. If you are on this side of the cycle going long, you're happy, but if you're on this side of the cycle going long, you're not happy. So just know what side of the cycle you're on, and don't get caught offside. That's all my opinion is. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but if I already did, then boohoo, too sad, because that's what these stocks are at the end of the day. Garbage, no name brands, 15 million market cap. So just know what you're buying into if you're buying the stock, and why these stocks pump the way they do, and then get dumped the way they do. So just know what the story is behind them. Okay, UPS, Uber. Do we care about Uber? Nope. Robinhood, I think because Bitcoin is going up, potentially worth keeping an eye on Robinhood. But at the same time, MicroStrategy is going crazy. You got Coinbase getting ready for a breakout to the upside. Mara had a big 18% move yesterday and looking like a 3-bar breakout on the daily chart above 14.50 back into $15-16. So, you know, Bitcoin sector is very, very much looking like it wants to get activated again. And Bitcoin looks like it wants to reclaim that 90K area. So if this one gets back into 90K and back above 90K, then you know, there's a bunch of stocks that you can potentially look to trade. GME, Hood, MicroStrategy, Coin, IBIT, Tesla. So bunch of names over there you can keep an eye on. IonQ, volume dying down, sector kind of getting out of play too, but for sure watching it. I think small cap stocks have been picking back up, at least for today. There was a lot of volume in some small cap names. TNON, DATS, so there was a bunch of small cap names bringing in volume, and that's good because that means more fun for me. So let's keep an eye on those. Apple looking bullish. I think we saw that everything in the large cap was bullish except for Nvidia, but Nvidia looking like it's getting ready for, I mean, why do I have so many lines? Probably because off the hourly chart. Let's get rid of some of these. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. I think I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with that. Okay. So, not Tesla, Nvidia, if it gets back above 123, I think that's when things get exciting for me for a long side. But without that, I'm not too keen on looking to get long Nvidia. On dips, potentially you could look to get long, but if Nvidia is pushing down, that's possibly because the market's looking weak. And if that's the case, I think there's going to be other names on the market for me to go around and look for a short, such as MRK or ABBV, because they were extremely weak today. So just a quick thoughts on names that are high priority for me. Tesla is usually a high priority, always keeping an eye on Tesla, always keeping an eye on Nvidia. UPS, because it got absolutely sold off today. ABBV and MRK look like they had some sort of a news based, or at least got sold off, so I'm interested in those, and the earnings names will be important. And then the pre-market names, any small cap names in pre-market that pop up, any names that my trusty tool Flash Research actually picks up for me. If you guys are interested in this awesome tool, look at this awesome tool. Shows you all the statistics that you need to know before you execute on small caps and trades overall. So if you're interested in this awesome tool, go get 10% off by clicking the link below in the description. And that's the segment of or that's the sponsor of today's show. Thank you, Flash Research, for sponsoring. Quickly want to go check, not this, where is IPO calendar? Quickly want to go check the IPO calendar if any new IPOs came in. They have not, so we still have this IPO. I did mention to my CEO that there was an IPO, not CEO. I mentioned to my manager, I guess he is the CEO and my manager, but I guess I mentioned to my boss that there was an IPO Friday, and he quickly, you know, dove into the name of this company and see what they were, and apparently it's an AI name. So just a little heads up over there. You know how AI sector has been kind of in play at the moment. CRMV, RWV. So AI names have been in play a little bit. Hyperscaler driver and AI revolution, and 18 billion market cap. What? 18 billion market cap. Nuts. Alright, so very interested to see how this one sets up for IPO. PayPal around 71, SoFi around 1350, says my good friend John Vaughn Sewers. We love John Vaughn. How you doing, John Vaughn? John Vaughn saying 13. I guess you could have something over here, but I'm not seeing anything too much for a day trade. Thankfully, SoFi does decent amount of volume. PayPal does look decent, but it's more for a swing trade than like a day trade at the moment. Volume's kind of trash. So if you're looking to invest, buy the dip, or look for a swing trade potentially, if you think the market's bottomed out and the tariff talks are also going to cool off, if you think all of that, then this is possibly a good area to look long with the stop right over here. So keep an eye out for PayPal, I guess. Shout out to John Vaughn for that one. No other stocks that I really want to take a look at, so I'm gonna quickly go take a look at the econ calendar for tomorrow. We got durable goods at 8:30. Besides that, nothing really. Kashkari at 10 a.m. 5-year auction note at 1 o'clock. Atlanta GDP number 11:30. So I guess that's about all you're getting. If you do trade crude oil inventories, that's every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Wasn't this usually at 10:30? I guess because time did go forward an hour. I'm not sure. Maybe they just moved these numbers back to 9:30 or something. Either way, crude oil numbers at 9:30 a.m. Fed member Kashkari at 10 a.m. Atlanta GDP numbers 11:30. 5-year bond auction note at 1 o'clock, and core durable goods at 8:30, along with just say durable good orders coming in at 8:30. So that's going to be your econ calendar. Not too spicy of an econ calendar. Markets at the moment kind of, you could say, stuck in a range, stuck in a, I guess not really, it broke out of a range. It's actually having an expansion after having a contraction, so I can't say it's stuck in a range at all. But you know, the momentum seems to be slowing down, volume dying down. The ATRs are going lower and lower. Now we only have a $10 ATR compared to $11 ATR on the market, which we had on the way down. So this also doesn't look like a dead cat bounce anymore, does it? It looks like a real bounce now, as we are going back into the 200-day moving average. So lots of questions. We'll see how Trump Daddy trumps the market with more tariff talks, or does he boost the market by cooling off on the tariff talks and letting the market go right back into the all-time highs. So lots of questions over there. Thankfully, economic data is no more going to be the dictator. The dictator is going to be the dictator himself, and his name is Trump. So make sure you have news channels turned on, Benzinga Squawks, or Twitter. One good channel. This is actually a great tip. A tip that I wish someone gave me when I was earlier in my trading career. Go check out Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. Amazing account. Basically posts everything that comes out on Bloomberg terminal, and this is basically your way of not having to pay for a Bloomberg terminal. So Walter Bloomberg, an amazing resource that I think everyone needs to go check out. Worth it. Every single follow, worth it. And on that note, it's time for your boy Pratty Daddy to head out, go eat some dinner, do dishes, and then do some homework. Lots of homework. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get the fuck out of here. Bye. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m.
Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.